We are live. Welcome to the Renegade podcast. I'm your host, Dashing Rogue, and with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
Wait a minute, Dr. Payne. I don't know anything about old people.
Just feed her 3 times a day and take her to the bathroom 12 times a day, and Metamucil will do the rest.
Yes, it will. Metamucil is a fucking god drug. Take it from a dumb boomer like myself, or I guess a millennial that basically... have we become boomers yet? I know you're like more Gen X, like you're more akin to John Steele, Luke, but I don't know.
I mean, aren't we all millennial here?
Some of us might be. I mean, I am, almost certainly.
I don't keep track of that stuff.
Neither do I. I mean, only boomers keep track of that crap. Hey, Vinny, how you doing? Welcome. No, but for those of you who don't know what that was Magma Vault's prototype. I've been listening to a lot of their stuff as I've been playing through Cyberpunk. I am considering doing a Cyberpunk Let's Play just because as somebody who's been in the actual Night City, who's been there and actually been to some of the places within said game, there are things that I think have been inspired by the game, let's just say. I would like to actually have my 2 cents on that. But the reason we called this tonight, the whole mac and cheese thing, is because apparently, like, I think there's some shenanigans going on. Now, oh yeah.
Well, it got narrowed down a little bit. So what shenanigans and where?
Okay, so we'll get directly into it. So this is, you know who the Jeremy is, right, from the Quartering?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Quartering, which I keep thinking the Quartering, he's like the freaking quartermaster or some shit. Apparently there's a simp, or supposedly allegedly what's going on is there's this woman, a streamer, I guess conservative streamer. It doesn't really matter if she's conservative or leftist. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, what the accusations are being leveled against her, as well as against another certain person, that's what matters. She's claiming that she's being stalked. She's claiming that she's being stalked by a guy. And I've never heard this woman in my entire life. She apparently has like 150K, but maybe I'm just disconnected from the youth. Now, I sent this to you, Luke. You can take a look at it. It's in the links are in the Discord.
What is this?
Well, basically, there's a guy who's been accused of stalking this girl, and she, like, again, the girl did everything she needed to do. She said, "Leave me alone." She contacted the police. Everything was done. Here's the issue, though. In a weird twist of fate, and this is the only reason I'm really talking about it at the end of the day, is that this gentleman who's stalked her, apparently, he's suing her now in court.
Oh. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so apparently the woman who's accusing him of stalking her, he's suing her in court. And the thing that just gets the shit out of me about this whole Melanie Max phenomenon is that she's posting this guy's face everywhere. And that's not to say that I'd want criminals to actually be caught or not be caught. It's that, like, if you're being stalked, you don't want to give any attention to somebody, right? That would make sense. You don't want to give attention. You don't want to, you don't want the guy to be infamous because then he'll continue doing it. But the problem here is she's posting the shit all over the place to the point where she's like, I have receipts, and she's like showing, a Google Drive. Now, can you play this here? Because again, Quartering did something that's very interesting, and if you could sort of see where like there's the method to my madness, because I don't believe this woman's being stalked. I really don't believe she is. I believe what's happening is she has maybe an obsessive fan, or obsessive critic, I should say, who's constantly criticizing her work. He's a little bit off, but I don't think he's stalking her. Again, I'd have to look at the actual data, because she has made her police report. So, and at the same time, I have a little bit more knowledge when it comes to what actually would be, like, actual good evidence in a court of law. So, like, one of the things she was using is she's like, I have screen caps. I'm like, screen caps can be fake. Do you have any freaking archive.org or anything like that? And archive.org links cannot be faked. Screen caps can be. So, I really do think it's going to be interesting. But go ahead and play the clip.
Yourself. This is absurd. The legal fees that are going to get accrued here because this lunatic, because she won't marry him. Is absurd.
Yeah, that's apparently the alleged the accusation that he was so obsessed that this guy wanted to basically, he thought he was going to marry her or something. And again, the woman claims to be a Christian, right? Now, I don't know how long she streams, and there is an argument to be had that anybody who wants to get married, if you're streaming for like 7 hours every single fucking day, like you're marathoning this shit, right? You could make that argument there's things you could do that are more productive. Even if you're like cooking on a stream, that's at least more productive than being, isolated with all your fans, so to speak. But apparently, yeah, he's suing her. He's suing this woman, this streamer. And now I guess Quartering is now basically creating a Give Send Go account, or a GoFundMe, I guess you could call it, because it's basically the right wing equivalent of GoFundMe. But the problem here is there's no evidence for any of this stuff. And if you look at some of the stuff that she alleges as evidence, I'm like, this stuff can be deleted. This stuff can be altered. And if you're like an actual beat cop, and you get somebody to come in and say, hey, you know what? This person's stalking me, and the beat cop just looks at screen caps, and he doesn't understand that screen caps can be faked. It's more than likely you're just going to get a false accusation. But one of the things she said that really got me going is she made the claim, Luke, that she was frightened that he was going to take away her gun rights or right to defend herself because he's filing a restraining order on her, right? So there's this notion, Luke, that if you file a restraining order on someone, you could take away their Second Amendment right or their ability to buy a gun or buy ammunition because, you're on a restraining order, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently, what is interesting about this, and a lot of people are saying this to Melanie Mack already, is they're saying, well, guess what? Of all the places in the country right now, Texas is actually challenging on the federal level whether or not you should have your gun rights taken away if, let's say, someone puts a restraining order on you. In the 5th District of Texas, there's actually a case being challenged whether or not somebody could just say, okay, I'm going to put a restraining order on you. Now you can't have gun rights. Which again, if it just doesn't add up, right? So you have a woman who's scared that she's going to lose her gun rights. But even though in that very area that she's in Texas, I don't know what part of Texas, or if she's under this the jurisdiction of the Fifth Court, right? We don't know that, but it's very just telling because again, Jeremy's building a freaking. Just keep playing it, because again, you think that she would make her own Give Send Go or her own GoFundMe to like front the court fees, but he's doing it, and she didn't ask her to do it. He's doing it. Play it.
Start this on her own. I asked her to start it because I literally didn't have time to, and I said, and I'm gonna give some money myself.
It's at $11,000. It started at 1,000. Now it's at 11,000.
Oh, so it reached that much?
It got that much, and I just don't trust it. I really don't trust this person. I think the guy's a spurg. I think the guy with the mustache is a fucking spurg, but I don't think he's actually nearly as bad as people are saying. And even then, everything that she says as a example of stalking, you could immediately say to this other guy, and we'll just play some Blues Clues here in a second, and we'll take a look at this. Give me 1 second. Wolfman Prepper says, I remember the case down under where a woman said a man who had helped her fix her car snuggled after, and it ruined his life. Exactly. And that's something, God forbid, I believe a woman at her word, especially in 2023, right? So keep playing it, Luke. And we're going to play a little bit of more of Jeremy's clip. Then we're going to go to her clip. And eventually we're going to get to the guy himself. I don't want to give a platform to this guy, but at the same time, I figured, hey, free content, right? Play it.
Should have raised this up. But, I mean, hiring lawyers to get rid of a stalker is very expensive. She's trying to remove her ability to carry and protect herself in her own home. She's going to need, like, literally security cameras and things of that nature in her house because of this guy. And I thought, why not?
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. There's actual case going on right now in Texas where they are saying you can't take away someone's gun rights just because you make a vague accusation against someone and you put a restraining order on them. There's actual case there. So that's bullshit. Throw that out. Keep going. Luke?
Down on simping. And I'm going to give to this after the video, of course. But Melanie is a religious woman. She has deep faith. She is kind. She is a gamer.
She's generous. She's perfect. It doesn't really matter.
I just can't let it stand. I can't let this guy re-victimize her again. Now using the United States.
Why are we assuming she's a victim? Why are we assuming that? And again, I'm not saying that she didn't. Again, if she is a victim, she's doing everything correctly, except the fact that she was sharing her Google Drive, which Google Drive is not for like, mega uploads. It's not a replacement. You could see who's connected to you. You could see who's, trying to, who's viewing your files. It's a big security risk, especially if you have a stalker. So there's things that she's doing that are just incorrect. See if I can find one here for you. Give me 1 second. Here's another one. Okay, here we go. Here's the actual source, Luke. He took me to court, which I'll just say right now, good on him. Because at least, let me just say this. If she actually is lying, it's going to be on the record. And by the way, this guy, I don't get stalker vibes off this guy. I get more manosphere, I'm skeptical of women type of shit. Oh, I think women are thoughts and shit like that. I do not get stalker vibes off him. I get working class vibes. He looks like my fucking teacher from fucking high school. Shit. And I'll keep going.
Just gonna fucking record this now because I'm not gonna waste any of my creative energies on this fucking tramp, So Melanie at Mac is a con artist. Come at me, girl. Come on, take me on. You won't. You're a coward.
You guys have been asking for an update on this. I've kept it.
He looks so much like Penelope from freaking Wreck-It Ralph.
She does.
She does. Keep going.
Stalker situation to just go away. I'm not trying to ruin anybody's life. I am just trying to make sure I am safe. And sure enough, this stalker is not done. He is relentless. And now I'm in a position now to where I feel like I need to put out even more public information for my own safety because the dude will not quit. Now, just a
well, hang on. Back up. Why would putting up more information out there make you more safe when in reality he's not going to honor anything that the government throws at him? He's not going to honor restraining orders. He's not going to honor cease and desist. He's not going to honor any of these things, right? So why would you have to put out more information? Why is she doing this? If I had a stalker, or you had a stalker, Luke, you'd want to keep that shit on the down low. You don't want to acknowledge them and give them fucking credit. She's plastering his face all over the place. Mm-hmm. So for all I fucking know, this woman legitimately is taking people for a ride. That's what I think is going on. But again, before I can continue any further, the courts will decide. Keep going.
I'm not asking anybody to go after this guy. I'm not asking anybody to dox this guy, to look up his personal information. I'm not asking any of my viewers to do anything. I'm just making you all aware of what's going on because for my safety, I feel a lot more comfortable with people knowing what's up, okay? So if you missed
hang on. That's fair to say. If you're with your family, I let my family know, but I would not let my viewers know. I would not let everybody in the peanut gallery known to man. Because there are people out there who would gladly fuck with her just because, right? Wolfern Pepper says, I'm going to be real with you. I've seen so many lies and false accusations that I need to see evidence. Okay, we're going to get to that soon. Because I'll tell you this, I don't trust her either. But at the same time, I don't have to make the call. And this is one of the benefits of being in the peanut gallery. Because again, she's going to provide the receipts, right? Keep going. Play it.
Happened. This was months ago when I filed a police report on December 27th. The stalking took place on November 19th, and it just progressively got worse after I blocked him, and he just created a big stink over things. You can find the original video where I said, so I have a stalker. That is the title of the video. But if you're wondering why I'm wearing this cardigan thing,
you're LARPing as Penelope from Wreck-It Ralph. That's why. That's why you're doing it. Because apparently she had a Zoom meeting, which, by the way, the Zoom, I don't know why the justice system is using Zoom. Use Skype or MS Teams like everybody else. Keep going.
Via Zoom meeting because I got served papers yesterday. Okay? I got served papers yesterday on Valentine's Day. I got served papers told that I needed to appear in court today, which was the day after yesterday, obviously. So basically what this is an order because a petition for injunction for protection against me for stalking. So he's trying to pull a little switcheroo. Oh, she's stalking me now.
Well, for all I fucking know, before we continue, for all I know, the guy is literally a mook and a sucker, and he may very well be a bit socially awkward, and she just might say, okay, you know what, you're a stalker now. It's entirely possible. Skip ahead a bit, Luke. Maybe about 5 minutes into this video. There we go. Yeah, there we go. The receipts. Now, I don't know about you. If that... Back up a bit, maybe 15 seconds or so. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Play it.
This was his defense too. Apparently, he sent me DM request on Instagram. Looks like at November 4th, and he had a screenshot of DebateCon saying, "Hope to meet you there." Smiley face. And then again on this, or he replies and he goes, "I'll do the lunch bit too," because there was a lunch that everybody was doing at the con. I did not attend the lunch. Right, my panel wasn't until like 7 p.m. or something around that time. So then he goes,
You have a
"Looking
panel?
forward to see."
You have a panel and you're like 123K subs? Really? Is that... Why would a stalker want to take you to court? Exactly. That's sort of the whole point. Why would a stalker want to do that? Why would things just don't fucking add up. And Wolf is starting to realize this because supposedly we're supposed to believe that this guy has created multiple instances of, let's say, his same account. And he's like, she blocks, let's say, the gentleman's account number 1. He makes account number the same name, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. He does this, and if your whole purpose is to stalk someone, you'd want to keep anonymity, and you'd want to have something you could use to stalk them without them knowing about it, right? So things just don't add up. And keep in mind, just because it's in his name with his picture, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that guy made it himself. So what I'd like to see in this whole courtroom drama is I want to see, the receipts in the sense that where did he log in? Where was the first time this Twitter account was created? Was it created in the same area? Was it created across the country? Was it created via proxies? And the cool thing about this whole scenario, and this is where I don't really feel any sympathy for Melanie here, but because he's suing her, he has to prove that she is stalking him. Okay, and he also could say, well, all those screen caps and all that evidence that he has against me, when she made that police report in Texas, that could now be used as put into question and said, hey, you know what? All that information, all those screen caps, you can't prove to me that those are real. You could have edited them, and I could demonstrate it before a judge. All I have to do is open up, let's say, the HTML editor, and I can edit a tweet and then screen cap and say, look, see, I'm being stalked. Give me shekels. Keep going, Luke.
What's on the menu. And then there's a post unavailable. Okay, I don't know what he wrote there, if he deleted it or what. So these were DM requests. Okay, well then he comes out saying, she blocked me on Instagram. Which I didn't even remember doing that. I get so many DM requests every single day. I don't even know if I saw this. So usually when I block somebody, it's for a comment that made me uncomfortable, right? So either he commented something that made me uncomfortable to warrant the block, or if by some chance, which I have zero recollection of these DMs, that would be something I would block someone over if they were.
I don't know what you're talking about, Your Honor. I have no recollection of that happening, sir. I have no recollection of that conversation. I have no recollection of where that firearm was left, sir. Again, it's when we start getting into legalese, and when you start, taking people to court, that's when you start playing in the big boy leagues. Keep going.
If they were actually just talking about just being at the con, because, I don't care if someone's at the con. Someone else was at the con who follows me, and he was wearing merch that I had, and took a picture, said, good job on the panel, it was a pleasant experience. That's how things normally go. People don't go to these cons because they have these delusions that I'm their future wife. But alas,
what?
This is where we are.
Wait, no. She doesn't provide any evidence of where he says that. At least from what I understand, she doesn't provide any evidence. He talks about the future wife crap because she's a Christian, and you say you want to be a conservative, right? So this is why I really do believe this guy is less of a fucking stalker and more of just a weird manosphere guy who's a bit skeptical of, let's say, the opposite sex. Wouldn't say hateful in that regard, but definitely, again, it just doesn't add up. Skip ahead a bit more, Luke. 5-10 minutes again. Go. There we go. Right there.
Then, she gets through some other cases, so on and so forth, and then it was Sean's turn. Sean Sarto, the guy who drove 15 hours to see me, and who
that's his name, by the way.
Said that I could be his
so she's already saying his name multiple times. So again, she's making all the wrong mistakes, and I'm thinking to myself, if this person really was stalked, she wouldn't be talking about this. She wouldn't be having this conversation. She would be, basically having the police on speed dial. but she's saying his name, supposed his name, multiple times. Does it add up yet, Luke?
I'm still I'm still oblivious as to what the complaint is. So
Well,
you
the idea is the guy's just being fucking creepy. That's really ultimately what the issue here is. He's creepy. She blocks him. He supposedly creates multiple accounts, which again, there's no evidence for that. Just because it has his face, just because it has his name, just because it has whatever, doesn't mean that he made it, and doesn't mean that he's the one doing it. He's accusing her of stalking him and orking her fans to go after him. Keep going.
And who has been very creepy and inappropriate with me online. So she calls him up to the stand. She basically told everybody ahead of time too, like, hey, if you were the accuser, you're the one making these claims, and you're the one who wants this injunction, then you need to defend your case and you need to give evidence. So he walks up there. She tells him right away. She's like, she was amazing, by the way. She tells him right away. She's like, by the way, I want you to know that, sometimes other people will review stuff before it gets to me, and that's what happened in this case. She said, I didn't see it ahead of time, because if I did, I would have immediately dismissed this, because this is ridiculous.
Which is very fucking telling. Which is telling because, again, how many times is this person going to cry wolf before the court system basically gives the guy his time in court? Because I'll tell you this, I believe case law will be made from this. And we're going to keep moving here. So we're going to move on to the next part of this whole thing. This is her update as of late. Go. And then we're going to hear his side of the story after this. Or his update. Keep going.
So good. And he was just there like, so then he starts to lie. He flat out lies. So then she's like, I will give you a brief amount of time to give me any sort of evidence, but basically what I'm getting here is you're upset that she posted things on social media, but from what I'm reading here is she's concerned about her own safety against you, and I'm
which is not
her she can't post on social media.
Which, again, if she's concerned, that doesn't necessarily mean his rights end where your feelings begin. Again, if he's traveling halfway across the country to a convention, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that's not going to prove that he's stalking her. That just means he's going to a con. Like, for him to go, like, if I went to, what was it, Anime, or PAX West, I think it is, or PAX East, I can't remember what it is. It's some sort of, if I go to Otakon in Japan, and let's say Shigeru Miyamoto shows up, and let's say I say a lot of weird stuff. I say Breath of the Wild was shit. I hated the change of pace, and let's say the Zelda franchise. And I show up, and let's say I give him some words. Does Shigeru Miyamoto get to say I'm stalking him because I traveled, let's say, more than 2,000 miles to get to the con? Luke?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. But, I mean, he almost certainly can get a restraining order. The question here is, why would he want to for something so small? And even then, for all I know, this is just, it just doesn't smell right to me. Keep going, Luke.
About the situation, because she's concerned about her own safety. And then he's like, well, he kept trying to argue against it. Well, she's weaponizing her audience against me. She's done this before, which I have never done anything to this scale. He's basically talking about people who have hated on me on social media and who got ratioed. But I have absolutely not put any police reports against anybody or said that people were stalking me and all this sort of thing. I've never done anything like that. Somebody got ratioed
But you did put a restraining order on him, right? And then he's countersuing you, right? So you did do that before. But you haven't done it before with this, I guess. Keep going.
Because he didn't like old school Lara Croft, and I do. So those are not the same thing. So anyway, then he goes on to say that Melanie was saying that she weaponizes her audience against me. She posted my personal information, which I did not. I will share on a screenshot. I'll just blur out his address. He doxed himself, okay? Because somebody replied to me and said,
there's no evidence that's actually him, though. But that's not him. Like, he could literally just say that's literally a screen cap that you can get from his videos. Again, his data's out there. His face is known. His name is known. And it just... I could make an account right now from Twitter and have it Melanie Mac and basically just go screen cap her face, put it on there, and just start fucking with this guy, and you don't know if it's me or her, or if she actually did it or not. There's no way. You could be set up for this type of crap, you know? For all you know, it's a third party that steps in just to fuck with you, and then to create drama, and then to what end? Maybe you get money, maybe you get paid, maybe he gets to his channel and his fame from his channel, you know? Like it's sort of like a I wouldn't say a bottom feeder or an ankle biter, but it's kind of the same concept. So I sent you another link, Luke. Take a look at it.
Alright guys, so this is my last update about this stalker situation for a bit until I get things more handled. I don't want to give this stalker any more attention because it seems like
But you did. But you made 3 videos thus far. He made 3 videos thus far, and you've also, talked about. You posted his face. You have said his name. You have. You've accused him of shit that honestly, there's not enough evidence out there for this crap. I could just say bullshit. That's a lie. You made it up yourself. But did you see the issue here, Luke?
Well,
Wolf and Pepper says civil court.
There's a problem with the internet being behind with the court system because without evidence of clear and present danger, there's nothing you can do about internet, like supposed internet threats.
Exactly. So it's like as much as I like to bash a boo, which by the way we found out that Andrew Tate has a sister. No, she's not as good looking. I actually had to doll her up to make her actually fuckable. But at the same time, Wolf and Pepper says civil court doesn't have case law to my knowledge. It probably doesn't. You're probably correct about that. You're more knowledgeable than I am. Keep going, Luke.
I'm not about to cry. I know my voice sounds weird, but I'm fighting off a cold. I think it's because I just have not been sleeping enough. I've been ever since I got back from an outing with my family over the weekend and came back, I've had to deal with this situation. I was just looking forward to streaming some Hogwarts Legacy. Dude, I just want to play some games. I just want to talk about games. I want to talk about all the nerd culture gossip. That's all
Then do it. Don't make again. I would settle all this crap on the level. I would not. I would do it quietly. I would not. Again, let's suppose that this guy actually is stalking her. Shut the fuck up about it. Shut up about it, and just move on and settle it in courts. Let's skip ahead 5 minutes. We're gonna move on after this. Keep moving.
The situation, I just want to play some games. I just want to have fun. So I'm just, if I start a stream, I don't want to talk about it on stream, so if I ignore it or whatever...
Then stop talking about it.
I just want to have fun, and I just want to do what I enjoy doing.
By the way, I don't know. She says she's sick. She says she's sick, but she looks very, very healthy for somebody like that. Like, she looks like she put on some makeup or something. Maybe she did. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a girl, so I don't doll myself up for a stream. Okay? But, she doesn't look sick. She doesn't look unhealthy. She looks very healthy, in fact. There's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. Keep going.
So, I don't want to have to keep pushing my stream aside. I don't want to have to keep pushing my videos aside and everything that I've been doing that I've felt that I've enjoyed doing, that I've felt like, I have my community here, and I feel like we're actually doing stuff, man. And I feel like
doing stuff
I'm sharing my faith
and misogyny and patriarchy and I want to go play hog. I don't want to be a dick here, but at the same fucking time, there's just my fucking I guess my spidey senses are tinkling here. Now, Luke, I have this gentleman again, same guy's name. Whether he's crazy, which very well might be, or he might just be just. Give me a vibe check on this guy. There you go, Luke. Again, we're not trying to harass him.
All right, so we got another.
We're giving him the benefit of the doubt. Play it.
I wear the coat. The coat makes me look like a Steelers fan, and I know that's something that really sort of appeals to Melanie Mack. I don't know what to tell you here, folks. She posted a response video to the court room hearing that we had today, or the injunction I had filed against her. And her video it's actually quite entertaining at times.
Well, that nose.
Look at her evidence, and it's.
Well, that nose. He reminds me of my freaking teacher, Mr. Maddock. He really does. Like, he has that same sort of, like, Pollock look on him. Keep going.
Apparent that she really has nothing. So I can't see how any law enforcement agency would have considered issuing any sort of restraining order against my person, especially since I was in Florida at the time, and she was in Texas at that time. And her intentions to like sort of recast the debate con incident as a stalking incident is just completely, it's really pathetic. To be honest with you, it's just a very pathetic.
The stalker, ladies and gentlemen.
This was
the stalker. Again, he's handling it way better than most. In fact, most of the time, I hate to be the guy, he's doing the fucking Chad thing and just not giving a fuck about this thing at all. He does not give a shit. And again, I think that the law is on his side. I really do think that this is going to be interesting because keep in mind, it's not just she's accusing him. It's now that he's taking her to court. So now he has to prove that she's fucking with him, and it's not going to be that hard to do. Keep going.
An event that it was obvious to me, very, very clearly obvious to me that like everyone at the event knew each other except me. I was basically an outsider. And so it was kind of Melanie just circulating amongst her friends, and those friends trying to create a welcoming atmosphere. And I really did appreciate that, to be honest with you. And that's why I was kind of feeling like this could be something. But I'm a very sort of standoff kind of guy. Until I get to know people better and I know what kind of threat they pose to me. Or if
what type of threat?
intentions
Which
are
again, he talks a bit weird, like imagine if I started talking about my rivals and how my rivals, if the rivals might be a threat to me, like that, it puts little people off, but that doesn't mean he's stalking her. Keep going.
Or whatever it is, I've been pretty isolated guy, pretty solitary man, for a very long time, and it's very difficult to want to be a part of any community, to be honest with you. But anyway, so she made her video, and it's actually quite charming. I'm going to give her credit here because she definitely at least she's coming off as a girl. She comes off as a girl when she says things like, I never said anything like that, and I never said I don't know where he gets this idea, he's delusional. Okay, so wait, maybe I did say something like that. That doesn't mean he's right. He's still delusional. I mean, that's just a total girl thing to do.
Which again, appeals to madness, because that's another thing that I'm noticing. There's appeals to madness, and when you start playing appeals to madness, that's when I start saying, okay, you're full of shit. Because... Is he the most photogenic person? No. Is he critical of her? Yeah. Is he a bit creepy? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Doesn't mean he's done anything wrong. And even then, like, I don't even know how it would work. Like could I be able to get a freaking like restraining order on somebody, let's say in California, if I'm in Arizona? Is there a way for me to do that? And what would the bar be for me to do that, Luke? Do you know anything about this?
I have no idea.
Well, I would imagine that, I mean, I could get a cease and desist order all I want, but that doesn't mean that it's going to do anything. And even then, do the court systems work together, right? We don't know that. Keep going.
And I love girls, and I love women at this age. It's not correct for me to even imply I love girls anymore, but I love women. And that's something they do, and I'm totally aware of it. And like my reason of caution here is because even before the internet existed, I was dating women, and I found that those women had the ability to find out where I was going and what I was doing, and they could sometimes arrange to be at those locations and be very provocative. And that's what I'm concerned about, and that's why I asked for this injunction, is because I know, especially in the internet, especially when Miss Mack has clearly indicated, and should I say her real name here? I'm not going to, because
Don't
I'm
do
trying
it.
to respect her privacy, and I intend to do that. But anyway, So women do that, right? And in this age of internet, where she's admittedly said, I have people watching your activity, and when I can post anything about Melanie and have a response or a threat get, upon my person, immediately sort of appear. It's obvious to me that she has some sort of organization out there that is stalking me. That is stalking. That is really stalking. Okay? If I'm trying to contact her, it's because YouTube says, hey, if you want to get those videos down, you got to contact her. And therefore, here's my genius idea. Why don't you and me, Melanie, Mac, if you're listening, or your audience is listening, why don't we sit down and have a stream, right? I'll be wherever, I'll be in my bunk here.
Wait, so I'm confused about what the situation is.
Well, so what are you concerned about?
No, I don't know what this is. So he's
a stalker.
So he was criticizing her, and she interpreted that as stalking and placed a restraining order on him.
Yes.
So
yes.
But do they even live in the same vicinity of people?
They don't.
So what is it? So what is he trying to get to with her?
I don't know. For all I know, he's a bit weird. And because he's a bit weird, people, like, you would immediately say this guy's a pervert, right? And you just look at him and like, he has, some things are just in the mug, right?
I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's the logistics about this. Because I could just say, well, I could side with him and say, well, she's just being hysterical, misunderstanding the situation. But, like, what's his argument for him? Like, he has to contact her for what?
Well, from what he's saying he's getting his stuff taken down. He's getting his videos and his streams taken down. He's being harassed by her fans.
Oh, they're flagging his videos.
They're fucking with him.
Oh,
that's the idea.
Okay.
So the question then becomes, which came first, the chicken or the egg, so to speak? Did he criticize her and then she got her fans to fuck with him? And maybe he misinterpreted that, or is it something else? But either way, the courts will decide this. Keep going.
You're probably in my truck, and you can be wherever you want to be, and you can stream, and I can stream, and we can talk this over. And you can present all the evidence you have that I was stalking you or trying to menace you, and I will tell you my exact frame of mind. I will tell you exactly what I was doing, and I will tell you.
You can't prove your frame of mind. You can't prove your frame of mind. You can, however, show where you were logged into on Twitter. Like, let's say if there are like 6 or 7 freaking dummy accounts created with this guy's face and persona, you could find out exactly with Twitter where those accounts logged in, especially if it's a criminal matter. You could subpoena that shit from Elon. Yes, and I think that's what might have to happen.
Well, the problem is I don't know this because you're the first person I've heard to talk about this story, because this story seems like drama that's beneath our focus, and so it just seems kind of weird because I don't know his criticisms, I don't know his stuff, so I don't know what he's talking about, so I have no idea what's going on.
Neither do I. The only reason I know about this is because this guy is apparently suing her as a result of whatever he claims that she did. And she's claiming that he's stalking her. So because you bring someone to court, there's a certain way you do things. If I say Luke raped a girl, I have to provide evidence that Luke raped a girl. If someone accuses me of something, they have to provide evidence that I did that. That's how this works. So the fact that he's taking her to court is either a suicide move, like, oh my god, I stepped on a landmine, I'm gonna take you all with me, or he actually might be innocent. And I'm again, God forbid I actually said an innocent, but God forbid I believe a woman at her word, right? Keep going. I'm just saying, I never heard this woman before. For all I know, this is just a way for him to make her to make an extra few bucks. For all I know, there is no freaking evidence. There is no even court. Like, we don't know. We don't know enough about it. For all I know, she's making shit up, and he's the first one to actually go to the legal system. We don't know. But I'll tell you this, I'll be keeping an eye on this because case law will be made from this. Case law almost certainly will, because this is just fucking weird.
It's very weird. Especially since we haven't been following it. And so, like, we would have to be a jury in that. Like, we're approaching it the way, like, a jury would be in the case. Because, okay, who are these people? What's the evidence? What's going on here?
Yeah, and again, Jeremy's the one who encouraged her to get the GoFundMe and for money, right? So for all I fucking know, that money has wings on it, and there absolutely is never going to be any court case. There absolutely won't be. Anyhow, keep going. Let's play him out. Play him out.
Let's see.
intentions ever, and I don't know where you got that impression from. I can tell you all the things that perhaps you are insecure about, and you can do the same for me. And I think it might be, rewarding for both of us to have that conversation as adults, so we can move forward. And I want to move forward, but I simply cannot just let you post these absurd allegations that I was stalking you and let them continue to sort of have an effect or continue to create a hostile environment. I simply can't just let you to go on, keep listening to you, going on other people's streams and trying to sort of promote that idea. Continue to promote that idea, and you still do that, Melanie. You still promote the idea that I'm a stalker, and it's a hostile environment.
And it is. And keep in mind, let's suppose for the sake of argument that she's making it all up. This bitch could very well get sued for damages. I mean, I saw her recently on. I saw Melanie Mack on in the Tree of Logic's channel and Christine Mayer's channel, right? So they're like, this guy's getting a lot of shit. His face is being put on everything. If I hope to God she is smart enough to realize that you can't do that type of crap. And at the same time, I hope to God that this is a bullshit misunderstanding, because if this guy's lying, he's dead. Like, the moment he stepped on that fucking in court was the moment he was done, if it was true that she actually is stalking him. But if he could say, that's bullshit, Your Honor, all that crap that she has as evidence is bullshit, the average policeman would not be able to tell the difference between an edited tweet and a tweet that, let's say, was legitimate. Especially with things like, was it protected tweets now? Like, after, I think, 6 or 3 months, a certain amount of time, they don't show on your timeline anymore. And they do that so, like, let's say Ben Shapiro says something in 2017, and now he no longer believes it because it's 2013, right? Or 2023, I should say. I think that, honestly...
All right, so let's see what happens next. Well, I guess we just wait till the end of this comes out.
We'll wait till that, because I've heard another person who is also a famous quote-unquote stalker. You know who it is, Luke?
Who's that?
This is our guy. Let's see if you can recall this, and tell me if it sounds familiar. Here we go. This is an oldie, but it's a goodie.
What's this? Oh.
Just pay attention. Just pay attention. This is from the stalker's perspective, the quote unquote stalker.
Oh wow, this takes it to a whole other dimension of like confusion, since it's NES Arkeesian of all people.
Well, here's the thing.
Sargon of Akkad.
No. Just pay attention to how he was speaking, and now pay attention to how Sargon's speaking. Just play it. Right. Just play it. We're gonna play it for
an hour-long video. Is there any word particular?
Just the beginning. Notice the mannerisms he has and most of the mannerisms she has.
In this video, I will demonstrate that everything Anit Sarkeesian says about me personally is not true. I attended VidCon 2017 in Los Angeles, and I went to meet a group of fellow YouTubers who deal with similar subjects. At VidCon, there were several panels that featured Anit Sarkeesian.
Oh wow, this feels like a lifetime ago.
It does, but like, again, same thing, right? All I'm asking for is consistency. If this guy is just fucking with her because he knows that ultimately nothing he does is it's fucked up, it isn't against the law, and it's a bit creepy even, but it may not be illegal. And I guarantee he might have a boost of like people who will follow him. Granted, I don't know what content he makes. He seems like he's more of a fucking just weirdo, if anything. There's no consistency to his content.
See, I don't know his content. Let me check really quickly.
You can check it.
See, his Sean Sardo. What does he do?
Sardo, yeah.
Warning, Bowie. Melanie Mac wants you to stop stalking me. Diffinfo. Diffino again. It's nothing I recognize. So he's probably in subjects I don't know anything about. Fun in Chinese laundry. The boy in the bubble. What is this?
I think this guy's like a foreign exchange guy. I think this is the guy who probably go over to Hong Kong to teach people how to speak English.
So I'm guessing all the stuff on him, his critique of Melanie isn't on here either.
Some of it is, some of it isn't. But at the same time, we don't know. We don't know. But again, the thing that I love about this is this guy actually has a history. He has a history of the internet access. He's like 14 fucking plus years.
14
right?
years.
So it's not like this guy... there is an argument to stand your ground when it comes to internet accusations, because let's be frank, I've seen it too many times on the internet where, like, let's say, what was it, the girl, Jessie Slaughter, you know, the girl with her father with the cyber police, right?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the girl she was criticizing, I guess it was the band singer he was criticizing, he was a pedophile. He got caught for, like, dating an underage minor.
Oh boy.
But everyone and their dog thought that because Jessie Slaughter was, you know, criticizing him, and because she was such an easy target, they forgot about it.
Mm.
Yeah. So, again, play Sargon's clip.
Okay.
So we thought we would attend to actually hear what she had to say, and if there was a question and answer session, perhaps we could actually pose some of the criticism to her that she has for years refused to address. We arrived 10 minutes before the first panel was due to start to find the room virtually deserted, so we decided to sit front and centre. Now, we understood that this was going to be rather provocative, as Anita probably wasn't fans of us. So Dave Cullen of Computing Forever suggested that perhaps if she treats us with respect and professionalism and shows some dignity, what we could do is give her a standing ovation afterwards, to show that we could respect her in turn. This, of course, did not happen. Instead, Anita spotted
Well, yeah,
us
it didn't happen
and
because you
took
can't
the
prove
lead.
it in court. You can't prove it. No, seriously. Again, if Sania Sarkeesian sued fucking, like, if that's all it takes to shut someone down is to play the victim and then sue them in court or get a restraining order. I mean, did Sargon actually get a restraining order from Anita? It would sound like something she would do, right? Or maybe she's not crazy enough to try. But anyhow, keep going.
Of course, I think Anita Sarkeesian's kind of disappeared. I have no idea what she's doing right now.
Well, again, I'm trying to show an example of how you can criticize a woman who has a bigger audience than you at the time, and you can make a living off of it. I mean, look at Sargon, right? Play it.
Singled me out, and then subjected me to a torrent of abuse.
If you Google my name on YouTube, you get shitheads like this dude who are making these dumbass videos that just say the same shit over and over again. You're like, I need to pay attention because you're garbage human. Whatever, dude. But it's, you know, like, the fact that these dudes are making endless videos that just go after every feminist.
We had been silent in our seats, listening to what they had to say, and when she says, whatever dude, she's replying to me shouting back at her, I just want to talk. But don't just take
Shut
my
up,
word for it,
stalker.
because her audience was made up of a large number of YouTubers.
No, seriously, like, you could make that argument that Sargon is a stalker just by his rhetoric. The difference here, he has a posh English accent, so it's less likely he'll be fucked with because, you know, he has that accent. Right? Anyhow, we're going to move on from that. We're going to move on to some more interesting shit. So, Owen Benjamin. Those of you who stick around, we're going to have some fun.
Uh-oh. What happened now?
We're going to watch a little bit of Owen Benjamin. We're going to jump here and there. We're just, again...
Owen Benjamin versus Jim Bob Trinity. Should I know who this is?
He's debating the Trinity.
Oh, who's Jim Bob?
Jim Bob's a Jew, Christian.
So a Jew for Jesus?
Yeah, a Jew for Jesus.
What's the debate?
Just go into it
Your
blind,
God
Luke.
poops in
Here we go.
What?
a diaper and gets tempted by the devil and gets killed. So God pooped in a diaper.
That's like saying, can God take a shit in a diaper?
You're limiting God, not me. And you know that. That's
Fucking
what you
loser.
just...
Crazy eyes.
Oh no.
We're going in. We're going in.
Oh no. Oh no.
I told you guys I get the best stuff out there.
Oh,
I have to
no.
remember. I have to, as much as I like to bring awareness to like crazy shit that's going on the internet, we also have to remember to have fun. And when you have crazy-eyed Owen,
Oh no.
We're gonna have fun.
Parasites in his belly, Owen.
was
it kerosene? What did he use to get him out?
he used paint thinner.
Paint thinner,
Well,
that's it.
paint thinner, turpentine to kill the grabblers in his gut.
Why? Yeah, get the turpentine to get the insects out of your guts.
No, to kill the Jews in his gut, because that's what it was.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Here we
is that
go.
why he's only ripping on him because he's Jewish?
Well, let me just say this: I do believe that Owen is like, I think he's off the deep end. I don't think you needed me, but I don't think you need me to tell you. But
That's a bit of an understatement over the years.
like we're seeing. Like he's slowly like walking the fence between sanity and evil.
Well,
Like you can only be one or the other. Like it's one thing to say that Owen Benjamin snapped any things that the Jews and the Moon Goochers are after him. The moon isn't real.
Well, I
And a
mean,
bunch
he
of
is
shit.
kind of doing. He's doing that thing that Razorfist complains about Kanye. He's not fighting the left. He's surrendering to them by buying into their rhetoric.
Yes, he is. Well, you know, sadly, he won't ever criticize Owen, and the reason he won't criticize him is because he's on Taste Spaghetti's platform. There's a benefit to not being, working with, let's say, the man, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh,
And Taste Spaghetti is the man.
I mean, Owen doesn't really. I mean, Owen Benjamin doesn't really exist on YouTube anymore, so not much of an
No.
audience. It's like even if he did, you'd have to hunt down his material to mock.
Well, maybe I might do that because let's be frank, some of the stuff is really good, and you'll see it.
Here we go.
Here we go.
No.
Yeah,
Don't just
finish. Let me finish.
Jim Bob. Literally, you just did that, Jim Bob, and everyone can fucking see it.
No one gives a shit. What disappointment?
Can we skip ahead to the starter?
Skip ahead a bit. Yeah, there we go.
So here we go. Coming
there.
up,
7 minutes on the clock. Go.
February 8th. So this was a little over a week ago.
A little over a week ago, but I got to see it for the first time.
Oh, so it was only posted 2 days ago, but it was recorded a week ago. Okay.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
It wasn't about whether I agree with Owen or not. It was about, we haven't really established this. And then we saw Bill Nye of Catholicism, the Logos, pair up with a homosexual and some other magician, and did a horrific job, in my opinion. Not only a disservice to Owen, not only was it trickery, but it was a terrible event. It was a terrible event. If I were Owen, I would have been like, I'm right about this.
Do you know the context of this meeting? I don't know what they're talking about.
They're going to debate the Trinity. They're debating the Trinity.
No. I mean, do you know what he's talking about? What Jim Up's talking about, that meeting?
Apparently, they're talking about Logos.
Oh, is that what they're talking
and
about?
Bill, well, just keep playing.
It's definitely.
Owen, I'm going to restart the clock for you. You have 7 minutes.
I am arguing that there is not adequate evidence that Jesus is God, and that the Trinity doctrine goes against the words of Jesus in the New Testament of the Holy Bible. Jim?
Oh, so he's now a heretic.
He's a heretic now. He's a crazy heretic, and he has that neurotic look to him, that like neurotic smile.
So sorry, Owen, but even the Protestants won't take you in at that rate.
No, he's a borderline fucking heretic. Keep going.
And I am a Protestant. Don't forget, folks.
Oh yeah.
Jim Bob is a husband and a father and a brother, but he's also probably a cousin, so he's a 4-ity. I don't know. Anyway, to avoid issues with YouTube's terms and conditions, I will spare you the
And who's the Andrew? Who's the guy? Miker Nation? Who's this
Milker
guy?
Nation.
He looks
Andrew.
familiar. Is he from something?
No, I don't think so. But just keep playing. Just keep playing, Luke. Just let it play.
Specificities of Jim Bob's lineage. But believe me when I tell you, these people are incapable of speaking directly, and they spin their illusions.
I made you
with their
remember.
words
I
exactly how a
apologize.
spider spins.
What?
Fucking Wolford Pepper says, "I keep forgetting this man exists, and you made me remember." I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Wolf. I'm sorry, mate. Keep going.
Webs. Opening to trap a fly. Given Jesus is God, therefore Jesus is the Father of himself. That does not sound logic, and I was disappointed.
Oh no! I know.
Owen?
I know what. These are just the highlights, but no, Owen, that's not this strong. A steel man. Ugh.
It's a steel man, but it's still wrong.
It's not even a steel man. No Christian believes this.
Well, maybe Owen believes it.
He's not a Christian.
So
he doesn't count.
Well, now hang on. Can we argue that, like, you don't get to decide what a Christian is? I mean, that's sort of a leftist tactic, but it kind of does work. We're no longer in a time when there's, like, one or two variants of Christianity, Eastern and freaking Catholic, right? I don't know. Keep going.
I'll take that debate anytime. I love that discussion.
To
All
see the normally logically bound Jim Bob push such faulty logic. Jim Bob will speak quickly and use large words like presupposition and archaic insults that no one understands, like Arian heresy. Yes, my mom is a Visigoth. When I say these people are incapable of speaking directly and clearly, I mean it. Watch for Jim Bob's sleight of hand.
I mean, as a criticism, I have the people, but I know how to use it, but I don't use it as an argument against someone.
Yeah, but even then, Arian heresy, he doesn't even know what the Arian heresy is. It has nothing to do with, like, Indo-Aryans or Hitler. It was a guy named Arius.
Yes. The idea that the Son and the Holy Spirit were creations of God. And that was one of the earliest heresies in the church.
Yep. And this is where we get into Gnosticism and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Like that fly that he's used to trapping in his web, poorly drawn cartoons and sarcastic tirades, a bear will never fall to the cobwebs of his soul.
Andrew's having the time of his life.
He's having the time of his life because he's basically he's accusing this guy of basically like just the adjectives he uses to describe this guy with no fucking charity and no fucking good faith. There's no good faith in Owen.
I mean, I have expected him to call him the K word for the echoes. I have expected him just to blurt out.
Well, I mean, he's talking like fucking Nazi propaganda almost. Like the way that the Nazis would like dehumanize the Jews to the point where they are basically, seen akin to almost an animal or something like that. You could see that he just called them a spider spinning a web of lies.
That's all socialist propaganda. And that's why it's so effective, because it's so emotional.
Yeah, and the problem here is Owen gets stuck in his own fucking little echo chamber.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
His pen. The Orthodox Church could not stop Greece from plunging into the pit of sodomy and low-quality olive oil. And a criticism of the Trinity doctrine, or the Romans who invented it, is not an attack on Christ in any way. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for that opening statement. Left with 2 minutes on the clock. Very
I
good,
have more.
gentlemen.
Can I get those 2 minutes?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Take your 2
The
minutes.
benefits of being from a town riddled with pedophiles is I can tell you when you're being molested. If an old man in a dress wearing a hat wants you to kiss his hand so you can feel the presence of Jesus,
He has no fucking filter. The man has no fucking filter.
I mean, it's grave. I mean, I do like that. I do appreciate that, but it doesn't seem to be on track with anything. if you're gonna take off your filter, make sure it's on topic.
Yeah. Keep going.
I like Trump without his filter because he stays on topic at least.
Yeah, well, Trump is a vulgar person, and for the vulgar masses, this is just fucking vulgar. I need to get on sometime and talk about the big umbrella Christianity. The Trinity is not fully stated in the Bible, but there is evidence for it. There's also a few demonstrations that denominations that don't believe in it. Is Owen drunk? Owen is high on life. Let me just say that DK. Keep going. And welcome, by the way.
Well, the Trinity is the most logical, consistent position of God, and that's why it's persisted in the church for all these years.
Yep. Keep going.
Its history of promoting a personal connection.
In fact, you could probably find the heretical churches with the ones that don't hold to the Trinity. You could pretty much find out what the cults are by that metric alone.
I'm wondering how many. How many of them have an LGBT flag? Also, that's what I want to know.
They don't even believe God exists. They don't believe in God at all.
They don't believe in God at all. Keep going.
God and the Word of Christ had no problem with the 20th century's red menace. We sidestepped it with the ease that James is known to sidestep a bath or a much-needed brushing of his filthy teeth. That's it.
Okay. Well, thanks for that opening.
That was a debate opening.
That was an opening. You need to get fucking washed, Grizzly Adams.
Owen. Yeah, he's just surrendering to he's just giving up on trying. He's just having fun.
He's trying to win the crowd, and that somehow.
He doesn't have nearly the effect like. I mean, it's going to be a while before you see anyone like the Internet Aristocrat or Jim. But Owen Benjamin, that's not him. No.
No way. Owen is manic. Yes, he is. Yes, he is manic. He does have that manic mania look to him. Keep going, Luke.
I didn't hear an argument in the open. I heard a couple straw mans. It just sounded like a really long Yelp review. It was a good Yelp review. It was like a funny thing to read, but I didn't hear any arguments themselves. Are you taking a Christian Unitarian position or an Islamic, the Allah position?
Are we going back and forth right now? You just say that this is straw man, but I gave like 8 logical arguments.
You didn't present an argument though. You presented a lot of rhetoric. And it's enjoyable.
No, it's not. Because you
Give
guys
me one argument.
Give
me one argument.
I'm answering. You called it a Yelp review.
One
okay.
argument.
Given Jesus is God, given Jesus is the Son of God, therefore Jesus is his own Father. That's logically retarded.
That's a straw man. I don't believe that. So that you're actually just knocking down a
when
fault.
Jesus said the Father is greater than I.
No, it's a
means
steel
he's
man.
Greater than himself, and you think that's logical.
It's a straw man. It doesn't. That's not what Christians believe.
No. A steel man is. We're not talking about Christians. We're talking about what he believes. And this is why I say steel man doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong. Correct. It doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong either. You could be wrong with a steel man. Like, I could try to represent, let's say, Melanie Mack's position to the best of my ability with all the evidence that's presented, and I could still be incorrect.
Well, no, that's not the point. A steel man is the strongest version of your opponent's position, and then you knock it down because you show that you could take on that one. But that's not. No Christian believes that.
Yeah, but the problem here is nobody can give that position but the person making that position, so you can only really emulate it to a certain degree. You know, you can only try to be charitable and have good faith.
Which is what a debate needs. Which is what debates need.
Exactly, and this is just a shit show.
This is not a debate. This is just a show. This is
Alpha 100. Owen said it himself that he was gay. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he must be gay. I mean, he's whatever, right? And he says, and touched by his priest as a kid. Lol, yikes. Well, yeah, yikes indeed. Keep going.
No, when Jesus speaks and does, he's fulfilling the Father. So this idea that he is the Father.
No, answer the question, James.
I just
said
Jesus isn't the Father.
The Father is greater than I.
Yeah.
How could that be said by God if he is? So when it says that only God, only the Father knows the time, not even Jesus, do you think Jesus is keeping secrets from himself?
How do we interpret Scripture, Owen?
Personally, I get to interpret
Scripture. So the same as all the Protestants you make fun of. You come to your own personal conclusions based on just reading it alone, no context.
Oh, you mean the guy in the robe that you kiss his hand?
If you're uncertain of the interpretation of a
neurosis,
what do you go to? If you're uncertain,
go to people that I think make sense and are logical.
So how do you know? Just because you think they make sense.
I can't answer the question though.
Because you're appealing to hermeneutics. Because it's important. Because
appealing to hermetics.
That's hermeneutics, which is the
hermeneutics.
Yeah.
Okay, James, speak clearly. This is retarded.
It is clear. Everyone knows what hermeneutics is.
Hermeneutics.
No, I
don't. Knows what hermeneutics is
on my channel.
Okay.
Hermeneutics. Luke, get the Google. Play it, but get the Google going.
Let's see. What's the best way to describe hermeneutic? Is basically a way of interpreting something, a specific way of interpreting information. But I'll give a detailed hermeneutic.
Hermeneutics.
I guess a more accurate version is like worldview or presupposition.
Oh,
hermeneutic. Let's see if I can find it.
I'm thinking of hermetics. That's what I was thinking. Like what? Hermetics
is a theory or methodology of interpretation, especially interpretation of Bible text and philosophy of text. So basically, it's the way the hermeneutic is the way that you go into the Bible and read the Bible. Because if you're like, for example, eisegesis and exegesis. If you're eisegesis, you will read only what's in the Bible and read in the context. If you're exegesis, you will read things out of the Bible and bring them into them, which is what depending on what your hermeneutic is.
Yeah, so I would do that as well, but not in the sense that I would be like, well, there are other gods that exist, and therefore there are multiple gods, and this Bible only talks about one of them. No, that's not what I would be doing. I'd be doing what the naked archaeologist does, and it'd be like saying, well, what exactly would the coat of many colors look like? I would be doing things like that. I'd be more of an archaeologist when it comes to the Bible. It's something that I like to do. Alpha 100 says, Jesus explained himself, Owen. He said not that he didn't know, but that it's not for you to know. He was asking the question twice. Oh, that's actually a good way of looking at it. And yes, DZD, welcome.
He was asked before and after he was resurrected. So he said, is it time now? It is not time. It is not for you to know the time.
Exactly. Amen. Keep going.
Although there is, the Father in the Trinity, the Father is greater than the Son just because of the authority that the Trinity has in itself. But of course, Owen doesn't understand that distinction. He thinks there's no such thing as persons, and so he's just trying to make the lazy Muslim-like straw man against the Trinity.
Well, because he's a fucking Muslim at the end of the day. He's a cultural Muslim, and yes, real, absolutely, Alpha. Keep going.
Isn't that making more of an atheist though, since he doesn't believe in anything?
Well, I mean, is Will Riding the Logos guy a fucking atheist? I want to see a Will Ride go to fucking prison. That'd be hilarious.
Is he Christian?
Who? Will Ride the Logos guy?
Yeah.
He's a Catholic, a traditionalist Catholic.
Wouldn't that technically make him Christian?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
But let's be frank. When he starts talking about Logos, right? Instead of talking about Jesus, which I'll just say it right now, Beckloff is correct in that regard that we should almost certainly be using Jesus' name, not the Logos, especially since the Logos was originally a pagan concept that Christians later piggybacked onto. Keep going.
Yes, this will be educational for the chat.
Got it.
Yeah, when you refer to a scripture, you're assuming the interpretation is already known, right? So I'm reacting to your interpretation, right?
Right, which is truthful in logic, though. You're not being
No.
truthful.
The Bible didn't just grow on a tree.
Yeah,
right?
Owen, that's not true. That's not true at all.
You don't have a monopoly on the truth, and even then, how do you know that you're telling the truth? You don't have anything to show us. There's no way for you to come to the conclusion. You could point to the scripture and say, I'll give you an example. The Protestants will say that there's no legitimacy to the Catholic Church, but the Catholics will say, well, if you look at a certain verse, this is an example of where we get our claim to priesthood and things such as that. I can't remember what exactly off the top of my head, but there are different ways you could interpret it. But we're all sourcing from the same book, or same few books, I should say.
But you're not, and Owen's not doing that at all.
He's not. He's saying, I'm logical. I'm reasonable. Go on.
Sure, you are.
He's trying to fucking use his fans as a way to get ahead. He's trying to basically win the crowd, and that's something that I think a lot of it's the comedian angle that Owen has. Like, he's reading the crowd and he's trying to see if he can get ahead. Wolfgren says, a problem I have noticed is Christians are very bad as a whole on explaining their positions. They're very poor in communicating it and get offended easily when challenged. A very few good debaters. Absolutely, you're correct about that. I'm not. Yeah, you are. Owen's a bad one. But Owen right now is like Jar Jar Binks. He's on a fucking trip and over everything, and he's going to destroy the entire army because he's the type of guy who gets benefits for being clumsy. If that makes any sense. Keep going.
Yeah, totally.
So where did it come from?
Why don't you answer any of my questions, James?
Because you're begging the question in your question. You're appealing to the Bible.
Okay, do you think Jesus was God when he was a baby pooping in a diaper? Or did he
what
grow
do you-
into God? At
if
what
you're
point did he become God? Do you think he pooped in a diaper?
fully human people, even if they're fully God, yeah, they would have things of human nature.
So God pooped in a diaper.
That's not an
God
argument.
is hunted by the
That's not an
devil.
argument.
No. What I think is going on here is we have different gods. Your God poops in a diaper and gets tempted by the devil and gets killed, right? That's your God, right?
How do you know who God is, Owen?
I choose who I believe God to be based on revelation in my life and scripture.
Yep.
You're a heretic.
Yes, that's blasphemy on so many levels. Like,
shut up and get in the shower. You don't need a towel. Get in the shower.
If you're gonna claim revelation, you better not be willing to die for that, Owen. Because if
not-
your revelation
he's not
is not
gonna
true, you
die
get in the Old Testament days, you've been put to death for that.
We will stone you. Keep going.
Revelation. How did revelation occur? Through what?
Why can't you answer any of these questions? Is this how it's going to be?
This is
I'm
called a
not gonna do
cross-examination.
it. A cross-examination? You're not answering any of my questions.
Well, hang on. Let's back up. Hang on, guys. Calm down.
How can someone be his own father?
I'm not going to go into your interpretation.
No, it's
saying
not
he's his own father.
interpretation, Jim Bob. If
No
you
one
make the
states
claim-
he's his own father.
If you make the claim he is God and he's the son of God, therefore that's basic logic. Given. Therefore, he is his own father. Yes, it is, Jim
No, it's
Bob.
not.
I'm very disappointed in you.
Owen, if...
You know logic, Jim Bob. You know how logic works.
Okay, let's do logic.
Yeah.
If God is three persons in one essence...
You're making that claim.
No, if.
Okay.
If God is three persons in one essence and they have their own wills, but they share a will, but they're different persons because God would transcend one and many things, right? So he transcends one and many persons as well. So
That's not hermit
Hold on.
I'm just using made-up words.
If it's true that God is three persons,
Made up
does
words.
it follow that Christ as the second person is the Father? If.
Okay, so if... What the fuck, man? So if God is three persons, is Jesus his own father? No, that's retarded.
Yeah, he wouldn't be. There would be three persons, right?
So three persons or one person?
No, three persons.
Are you using the Black's law definition of person, like a corporation?
No.
A person's a corporation.
Do you take the Christian Unitarian single father God, or do you take the Allah approach?
I just think that there's one God. You can call him Allah, the Father of Jesus Christ. You can call him whatever the fuck you want. I don't think the word really matters. And I know
that's why we have to define it, Owen.
I don't know whether the weather is going to be cold tomorrow. Now spell weather, Luke.
What does that matter?
Because you have to define your terms. Weather can very well be, it could be the actual atmospheric weather, or it could be whether or not something is. It depends on how you spell it, right? So without clear definitions, he's doing this everything he accuses this Jim Bob gentleman of, he himself is doing. He's being very fast and loose with his definitions. He's saying, I'm more intelligent, I'm more logical. Just because you're logical doesn't mean you're correct. You do know that, right? Logic and reason are not.
You could be misinformed or lying. So
exactly. Yeah. And even then, logic does not mean truth. It just is. It's truth in the logical sense, but not in the empirical sense. Keep going.
Sophists, like what you're doing right now, creating these words and ism, this, it's Trinidad, this, like words that people, maybe your channel knows, but
Where did you get that God created Jesus?
you just said he pooped in a diaper. You think that isn't a creation of God? Like, where do you?
If God is triune and there's three persons, that is the source of all things. Which is why I keep going to your position, which is Unitarianism. Like, you believe love.
Stop doing isms, all right? Because that's a bullshit.
Unitarianism is an actual word. You're
I'm
like
not
saying
a
words are
Unitarian.
bullshit.
I don't even know what that means.
So we say a Trinitarian.
I don't know what that
talking to the
means.
person who believes that there's three parts to the Godhead, and Unitarianism just means one part to the Godhead. So that's why we kind of clarify.
He reminds me of
three
me when
things,
I was a
Unitarian,
kid.
Where you got
Which
And
one?
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Which one?
He reminds me of me as
Who's,
when I was
Jim
Owen
Bob or
Benjamin.
Owen?
Owen. Like, I'm being confrontational just to fuck with people so I can have that little bit of a fucking like dopamine hit.
Ugh.
Fucking sad. Even though I'm willing to defend a fucking argument that I know is bullshit.
I talk to people like this, and I don't know why I give them the time of day.
Wolf and Pepper says that would start by teaching them what Christianity is and would hurt Christianity or churchianity. So good luck.
Well,
Yeah,
that
you're absolutely
should
right.
start
I hate the church, to be honest. I love the people, but I don't like the institution, if that makes any sense. In fact, I'm kind of just anti-institution in general. Keep going.
Well, as the internet spreads, institutions are getting no love right now, because
Yeah.
why have the institution when we have the internet?
Yeah, why? Exactly. For real, exactly.
Especially since we're still recovering from the boomer era of the church building, which I miss that. I mean, I grew up in that environment, but I do miss it. I miss a place to go to on Sunday, like having a regular place to meet on Sunday.
Keep going.
guys do it, and if it's a necessity for Christianity itself. So when he's saying Unitarianism, that's all he's referencing.
The one God,
Okay, so
single person.
Unitarianism just means you believe there's one God.
One person, one God.
One God. Yes. Person is a corporation.
No. Okay. All right. So
That's what person means.
Is God, your God, the stand?
Trinity means one God. They both mean
That's-
one God.
Godhead 3 in 1, Father, Spirit, and Son. Lion and the Lamb. Keep going.
Standard of love.
He should have said that, like, Trinity means one God.
I'm going to need time to think about that because I don't understand what that means. What is love? Describe love. I want to know what love is.
I want
to know what love is.
Dodging. You're actually.
No, I want to know what love is, Jim Bob. Describe it. You're using words and you're not defining them. So if I want to ask for clarity,
Okay, let's do it, Lou Owen. Sergei, Agape, Philemon, or Eros. Your move, boy. Keep going.
Love is the uncreated eternal energy of God. One of them. There's also compassion and truth.
How I feel about cookies is God.
How you feel? No, I didn't say feeling. Do you love your wife?
Do I love my wife?
Rhetorical. Do you act out? Do you participate in love with your wife? One-to-one person.
Are you asking me if I fuck my wife, Jim Bob?
No. And if God, in your view, is singular and eternal,
Does he love his wife?
Oh, yo, mod status. Yep.
Ooh, we're going to
Yep. Welcome
back.
Welcome by.
Which I'm not surprised you follow a God like that, but it doesn't have a grounding for person-to-person relations. It only has a grounding for self-love. Creation is temporal, not eternal.
Can you admit that you may be wrong? Who did Jesus say, forgive them, Father, they don't know what they do?
I hate that stupid question. Can you admit that you're wrong to the same degree that you can, Owen?
To the same degree that you can.
Or to the same degree that you can't, because no one says that. No one's willing to admit that they're wrong about anything, especially in a debate. No,
they're not. But skip ahead 5 minutes, and then we're gonna take a little bit of a break here. And now we're gonna get here. Here you go, Luke. We're gonna continue a bit here, but just so we get an idea. Here you go. I want you to. This happened.
Oh no, something evil is about to on the horizon, my friends.
Oh yeah. When everyone's favorite wizard decides to frickin' show up and talk about the resurrection of a Tyrannosaurus, a tyrant dinosaur.
The giant purple dinosaur might be coming back.
Oh yeah,
Barney the dinosaur. And he does raise a good point. I mean, I've seen this video, and can we just point out, he brings up the very interesting. In this video, he brings up the interesting point. Like, they're obviously going to try to repackage like Barney the dinosaur and bring it back to the public. But he says no one liked Barney. I don't know a single person who actually liked Barney the dinosaur. And I thought back to it and I like when I watched Barney was on TV because there were Foggy Day schedules and PBS was the one thing on. No one liked it, Barney. No one talked about Barney. No one praised Barney. Like, no one liked Barney.
It was literally just, I don't know, just play him out. This is how you LARP, by the way.
All right, everyone. As Grand Mimetic Wizard, I have a warning for the entire world. A great evil is being revived as we speak by the necromancers over at Mattel. Long, long ago, there was a tyrannical, evil dinosaur stalking the world looking for children to perv on, and his name was Barney the dinosaur. And he was in a corporeal form. It was a man in a big puffy suit, so don't worry. When he's hugging your small children, it's perfectly fine. He got defeated, he got destroyed, and we scattered his bones around the 7 continents. But now Mattel, in their evil plans, they have gone out and retrieved all of the Barney fragments. And this time, they haven't revived him as a physical form, so you can't kill him through the normal means. You can't team up and kill Barney with a great big punch and Barney hits the floor anymore, and there's a million variants on that little ditty that was very, very popular.
We'll use a Warhammer.
Group, at least, when I was in kindergarten.
We'll use a Warhammer or a chainsaw. Fucking just mow right through him.
He's an immortal cartoon character now. He cannot be stopped.
He's become a demi-lich. He's traveled to the astral plane.
He's on the Plutonic realm, and he's coming down to haunt us.
He's become platonic
Barbie. The same place where Song Chu resides, for all eternity.
Keep going.
/ first, second grade. Now he's a demon. And he uses computers to travel around and propagandize to children, and I get a sneaking suspicion.
He's a digital devil.
Creepy ass Barney.
I love this analogy. I love it.
The 1990s, dawn of the 2000s, so core millennialdom, was mainly about singing nonsensical songs and trying to teach really, really casual pedestrian lessons to kids by being fucking annoying. Well, kids...
Most of those songs, I hate to be the guy who says this, most of the songs are actually 50s songs.
Oh, that reminds me. Do you remember the Animaniacs parody of Barney?
I do not remember.
Baloney the dinosaur.
Baloney the dinosaur.
And the scene opened up with the kids going to classroom and saying, "There's nothing more I love more than school than staying in school and playing. And I love school so much I want to marry it."
Oh, jeez. Maybe that's the love. Maybe that's the love we're looking for, right?
That's the one positive memory of Barney the dinosaur I have from Animaniacs. The good Animaniacs, not the new tripe.
Mean that you can't paint. Here, look at little Freddy over here. He's a double amputee. He's using his feet. Wow, Freddy, you're so talented! Yay! And then they all dance around in butterflies and shit like that. And it was very, 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 very strange, even at the time. Very juvenile. Basically, sub-adult. So you're talking 3-year-old mentality. Stupid parents would prop their kids, their little toddler, in front of the TV to watch Barney dance around, and then they could go grab a drink and a nap and shit like that.
Same thing about the Teletubbies.
Fucking Teletubbies.
Do you remember the Teletubbies?
I remember the Teletubbies.
I didn't get them at all. Like, what is this? What are we looking at? I remember back when people were joking about how Teletubbies were teaching people how to embrace communism. Like, maybe they were right about that.
Maybe.
Anyway.
Shitty parents letting their kids watch propaganda like Barney. Now that he's digital, though, I have a suspicion that Barney will be woke, and here's why. It goes along with what Razorfist said. It's not get woke, go broke, it's the other way around. If your franchise is basically useless, just revive it, rehash it, change a few things around, and inject wokeness. You can get ESG investment that way. It makes your company look better on paper, ergo you get more public funding, and bank investment, and shit like that, and deals with PBS, and deferential government treatment. When the Mattel factory spews out a hydrazine or something like that, they won't get in as much trouble, because they're teaching kids valuable lessons about tolerance and diversity, and why everyone in the world should be exactly the same, and Heil Communism. That's what I get the feeling Barney will do. So whatever we do, we must stop him. We must absolutely deride Barney.
I don't get out of bed without being paid. And I would gladly do a contract for this wizard. The difference here is I don't get out of bed for more than 10,000. So he's on. So you're gonna have to go hunt down the demonic tyrant dinosaur yourself.
I am very curious how this is gonna turn out, because I mean, the reimagining of the Muppet Babies has been reasonably acceptable with that one scene where Gonzo comes out as being trans and coming out in a dress.
Oh, God.
But otherwise, but why Gonzo? It's not fair. But anyway, Barney being 3D. Being a 3D animation. Are they going to reproduce the schoolroom scene all the time too? That would be interesting.
Oh, Christ.
And I remember. Like, the way Barney appeared, he's this little doll who lives in the school, and he only appears when the kids appear in the room. He magically emerges when someone says pretend.
When they say pretend.
Yeah. Does someone say pretend? Or
Oh, so
no,
they-
did someone say imagine or something like that?
Right. Okay. Keep going.
How do the lyrics go? Barney.
Barney is a dinosaur from our imagination, and what we have is a dinosaur sensation. Here you go. That's your Barney.
Oh, and when he's tall, he's what we call a dinosaur sensation. That's it.
When he's tall. Okay.
Is propaganda now. Core millennial here, of course, I'm in my mid-30s. I can't think of a single person in my generation in proximity to me that liked Barney. I keep hearing NPR here, link in the description, talking about this this necromantic revival of the evil tyrant dinosaur. Literally a Tyrannosaurus Rex, just to be clear about where that linguistic shot is coming from. Literally Tyrant Barney.
No, I got you.
The Tyrant Lizard.
He's the thunder lizard. Yeah, I know. We got you. That's him right there.
Dinosaurs have more in common with birds in some ways, but we'll get past the Jurassic Park shtick at this moment. Lord help us if they reboot that one again, considering part 5. The thing is this. I see all of these fluff pieces about Barney and how great he was, and this nostalgic reference to millennialdom is finally back. Like, people my age are going to be fucking watching Barney cartoons or something like that. That's not going to happen. But I can't think of anyone that liked it. It was just, it happened to be on TV, and parents that wanted to catch a break, because the songs are annoying to everyone who's over the age of 3, they plop their toddler there, and they put on Barney for a couple of episodes. So to get him out of my hair, oh, you little shit, watch Barney, instead of interacting with them or doing something that's actually positive. They could be at least having their kid finger paint or something like that. Hey, here, learn a new skill.
I would rather them watch, like, Bluey or My Little Pony than Barney, please.
We're gonna go watch Batman the original the animated series.
Oh, Looney Tunes. That's what kids need to watch. Looney Tunes or Classic Bugs Bunny.
Tiny Toons and Classic Bugs Bunny. Anyhow, we're gonna continue going back to the Owen thing because we'll put the whole contract of whether we should kill Barney or not and scatter him, like enter the Tomb of Horrors to fight Barney. But we're not gonna do that just yet. He has to pay us if we're gonna do that. Instead, we're gonna go after everyone's favorite Logos killer, Owen Benjamin.
Oh, back to the debate.
Back to the debate. Yep.
I'm glad I got to see you smile.
Okay, good.
It's the love between us. We acted out with our smiling.
Right. But 1,500 years of people are preserving a script that is obviously gleaned from someone in Idaho that Christ isn't God, yet they practice and teach that Christ is God.
Jesus said that we enter through the gates of heaven as children, not using 12-syllable words. It's as children. And there's an innocence and a logic to it. And that's what I think using the Lord's name in vain actually means.
Right.
Christ told me that you have to kiss my hand and give me 10%. And and if you believe Jesus is not God, you can't be here. Because I did a pretty simple joke about how the triune Godhead has no female. I'm like, it's 2 guys and a ghost. I'm like, it sounds like a gay bar, And people were like, you're going to hell. You, sir, you're saying Jesus Christ is gay. You're saying God is gay. I'm like, 2 guys and a ghost? So where's the woman? Have you ever seen a baby come out of a guy's ass? Jim Bob actually knows more than me about logic, even though I am questioning his logic right now. I'm here for truth, bro. I'm not just here to win, even though my openings...
That is a lie, Owen, and you know it.
You are using the word truth so how should you say it? So loosely that you might as well not. You might as well. It means nothing. It's like saying I'm for the good guys. That's what it is. Wolfman Pepper says, "Do you think everyone should be loved?" Yes, some of the people should be loved. I don't think everyone should be loved. My dog is asleep, so that means I should go to sleep later. Good night, Wolf. Skip ahead a little bit. 5 minutes in.
Say presupposition.
Right. In your opening, your presupposition.
But I acted it out in love.
Let's dumb it down to 9th grade talk for the viewers. If you're doing an internal critique of the Trinity, you have to do it from the perspective that God is 3 persons, 1 essence.
I have not accepted that.
Exactly. So therefore, you're not doing an internal critique anymore.
Right, because I believe it's wrong.
From your...
Is Nicodemus God?
You believe it's wrong. You believe it's wrong. Owen, that's all I'm saying is you believe it's wrong because you have a framework that you start with.
Jesus did allow himself to be worshipped while he was
Who did Jesus pray to?
Well, you want me to answer it now?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So when you look at what's called an essence energy distinction, he's praying to the essence, not he's in human form. So there's an essence.
Or specifically, he's praying to his father.
He's praying to his dad, his sky daddy, quite literally in this regard.
Although, is it really sky daddy? Because when Jesus went into the sky, he just vanished. He didn't just go into the sky.
He went into the clouds, I think. I don't know the exact verse, but I'm just again, if we were going to say if there ever was somebody who had a sky daddy, it would be Jesus. I'm just saying. Keep going.
He's praying to himself in God.
The rest of us are just adopted.
Yep, we're just adopted. Sadly.
No, he's not praying to himself.
So he isn't God then.
No, he is God.
He is God, but so when he prays to himself, he's not praying to himself.
Yeah, so the 3 is 1, right?
The three is not 1. 3 is 3. 1 is 1. This is obvious.
Those are numbers. You can't apply numbers.
But you
to
can't
God.
apply numbers
You
to God.
admit
But
it.
you're
You admit
saying
it.
Trinity. Trinity is a number. It's the number 3. So you're saying you can't apply. No, you're saying you can't apply numbers to God, but yet you do, and I'm saying no.
Yeah, they just gave him that, unfortunately.
They gave it. You have to take some, you win some, right?
Like, what's that phrase? Never underestimate a bully's ability to find material to work with.
Yep. And he's managed to find something worth it. Keep going.
And then he prayed to himself, but did not pray to himself, and he isn't himself, and he's the essence.
There's no longer internal anymore. So.
So it's not internal, it's external.
No, you're critiquing from an external position.
How do I critique from an internal perspective?
So what you would do is you would assume our worldview for a second, and then point out inside our worldview why you think things are wrong.
Oh, how dare you! Okay, I'm there. Tell me what to do. I know my struggle is having the moderator be deeply and dogmatically in agreement with the person I'm debating. But that's fine. It's your channel. I mean, I do respect you, but
the debate's over now.
Yeah, this is why Razorfist doesn't need to critique him. Like he's his own worst critic.
Yep. Well, again, Razorfist, I think, would probably just live and let live, because let's be frank, Razorfist is kind of a Satanist, isn't he? Is he a Satanist?
Well, I think he was. Maybe he was like a Iranian objectivist. So maybe. Of course,
Hey.
he's not psycho. Of course, he's not a complete psychopath, though.
Hey, Bay Ray, how you doing? Welcome back, by the way. Tremendously negative of democracy is giving everyone the false belief that all people's opinions are equal worth. They're not. Owen is a biological serf and should know his. Well,
what
he was in the mode.
C.S. Lewis said about democracy. He said, "I'm a Democrat because I believe in the fall of man. I believe most people are Democrats for the opposite reason."
Yeah.
And he said some people believe that the people are so wise and so insightful that everyone should have a say in the government. The problem with this philosophy is that's not true, and the people who see the falsehood exploit it.
Yep. Keep going.
question is valid, and no one's fucking answering it without sounding like Jordan fucking Peterson. It depends on what you mean by essence.
Owen, hold on.
We all know it.
Owen, hold on. Can you just stop talking in all caps for a second? Can you just tell us back what the difference between an internal and external critique is?
No problem. Who's Jesus praying to?
Okay, you can't, so you won't.
But if he is God, he's praying to himself.
No, if you take on the internal critique of the position, it's not himself. I
Can
said
you do it as Jordan Peterson? So, come on, this is a Jordan Peterson argument.
Well, no, because I don't want to take the piss out of it because I think it's an important
It's
argument.
word salad.
No, it's not.
All right, well, let's move on the supers, guys.
On what basis can he not be one and many?
It's almost like this where I see the point of villains from Syndrome from The Incredibles. You respect me only when you're threatened by me.
Yeah. Yeah. And the only time that Owen's actually relevant is when he starts fucking running his mouth, which is pretty much all the time. So you have to like check in on him every 5 minutes to see if he hasn't fucking, zapped himself or something. Fucking killed himself with lighter fluid or something. Fuck. Keep going. Let's finish this up
I'm
here.
not saying that. Okay, so if God can be one of many, that's called Shintoism, or it's also called Kabbalism, where God puts himself in all things. Can God be me?
No, you're a creation.
That's pantheism, Owen. It's called pantheism.
Yeah.
That literally be pantheism. Shinto has pantheism in it, but they also have like a major god. I think it's fucking what was his name? Izanagi, I believe.
Is there a major god in pantheism?
In Shintoism.
Like, what is he, like the creator, or is it like an essence? What is it?
Well, he's the creator of Japan. If that makes any sense.
Only Japan?
I think. Well,
again,
I don't know.
Sorry,
I don't know.
I have to look it up later. I'll look it up later.
We'll look it up later. Keep going. Finish this book out.
Okay, well then I don't agree with that.
You're not doing an internal critique though. You're not answering the question.
I gotta go deep in my anus.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta go deep inside, really get to the bottom of it.
If you can't answer why God...
You're not the one who's not answering questions, Jim Bob.
But if
you're reframing now and trying to get your audience to make it seem like I'm obfuscating, and I'm not.
You don't have a
Who
good
the
reason.
fuck did Jesus pray to?
You don't have on what basis can't Jesus, the second person...
So why are you limiting God as not being able to be a toilet? So you're saying if God doesn't want to be a toilet, he can't be a toilet?
He's a creation. He can't. It goes against his nature. He's not eternal. Toilets are not eternal.
He can't. You're saying he can't be a toilet.
I'm asking from your paradigm, can God
lie?
lie?
My paradigm, can God lie? That's like saying, can God take a shit in a diaper? So you're saying when he said, don't...
I hate this I hate this debate so much. Because everything that's wrong with the debates. It's
Amaterasu is the main god of Shintoism. Is that the one that the dog? Is that like the dog, right? From that let's see if I can find it here. Amaterasu, the Japanese sun goddess. Oh, it's a goddess. I'd smash. The most important Shinto deity. She is the daughter of Izanagi and Izanami, the sister of Sunosu and Tsukuyami. Fuck, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but apparently it's Amaterasu from frickin' what the hell is it? Isn't it like a fox or something? From Okami, that's what it was. It's like this, Luke. I'll send you a link. Here you go. Keep going.
Worship me. Don't say I'm good. Only the Father's good. That was not allowed.
You're assuming interpretation again. Okay.
What the fuck, man? Like,
I hate this debate. I absolutely hate everything about this debate.
You know, part of me wants to take on Owen Benjamin myself. I would love to do it. It would be fun. It'd be useful even. Because this guy legitimately, he's arguing with a very limited hand, if that makes any sense. Like he's only using certain amounts of definition. He's called Shintoism when it should have been fucking pantheism. And yes, Shinto has some pantheistic ideas to it, but it also acknowledges that there are other gods that exist. So like you could have the Christian god and the Japanese god be like bump into each other, or even the Chinese gods for that matter. Keep going.
Seriously?
Yeah, you're doing sola scriptura.
No, hear me out. We'll use examples because all you're doing is like weird psycho shit.
I'm not going to do sola scriptura.
Psychoanalysis and I'm calling psychopath.
No, he's saying
that he's God because he's good and only God is good.
Right.
I get it.
Right.
Get it now. But that's obviously because you're forcing that.
No, you're forcing. On what basis are you not forcing the opposite? This is what my point is about the interpretation.
Jesus is God is not. I'm not the one that has to prove that he's not. You have to prove he fucking is.
Okay.
When I say who was Jesus praying to, and someone tells me it's my problem and I have to internalize my paradigm, I know that they're spinning fucking wheels.
No, that's just proper cross-examination. You're just not familiar with it.
Oh, it's because I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, you just don't do it.
Well, just saying you're a lying waste of life. Just say that's what you are. Just what Owen is.
Owen's a lying fucking alcoholic.
Yeah, it was funny, but I don't care. This drags on too long.
I think that, well, you know, we're going to move on to some other things then, because
yes,
sadly,
please.
No, we're going to move on. Night City stuff. We're going to talk about some Night City stuff. Or I should say the Night City.
What about
the city that never sleeps. The city that never sleeps. The Silicon Valley.
Zanarkand? Which city is that?
Zanarkand sleeps.
Well, it's the... internally, it never sleeps because it's always on.
Oh, that is true. No, but this is the city of Silicon Valley. We're gonna play some. We're gonna end it. We're gonna end it here soon, but we're gonna go do the news of the Silicon Valley of what's happening.
Silicon Valley Index released. What's this?
You'll see it.
From the wave of tech layoffs to the ever-growing housing equality gap, it's fair to wonder if the sun is setting on Silicon Valley. The Silicon Valley Index, released this week, aims to provide clarity on what's going on in our region. It looks at the highs, the lows of one of the nation's most important areas of innovation. Let's bring in Ian Cole. He spent his day going through that report. And Ian, let's start with the economy. What does the report say about that?
Yeah, you know, Scott McGrew reported some of these numbers, started reporting on it yesterday during this show. And today, the context was really laid out by joint venture Silicon Valley. Hundreds of local leaders and stakeholders were there for the State of the Valley this morning. The index examines the economic and socioeconomic realities of Santa Clara and San Mateo counties. The president and CEO says it's clear at the moment the tech industry is resizing and recalibrating. So far, the tech layoffs have affected at least 11,000 workers locally. Another 9,000 layoffs are planned.
This is nothing like the downturns that we've experienced in the past. The dot-com bust, that generated 300,000 job eliminations. 300,000.
Index looks at a wide range of economic factors. The report shows that the death rate has gone up and the birth rate has declined in Silicon Valley. And there is an exodus. 91,000 people left our area over the past 2 years. But interesting to note, only half. The index says only half of them, half of those people actually stayed either in the Bay Area or in Northern California. So we've been reporting on that as well, but it really kind of pinpoints where they're moving, and only a small percentage, I think it was about 20%, are actually moving across the country.
Okay, so what does it say for the people who are staying here, the families? What are the issues they're dealing with right now?
Yeah, and when they...
everything in between. Murder hobos, fire, fucking, pandemics.
California,
bad wages.
You guys suck. Politicians, you guys suck at running a state. And there's no reason why it should be this bad. You're California, for crying out loud. You have Hollywood and Silicon Valley. Why you shouldn't be able to suck this much?
We also have the coast, mate. Keep going.
I mean, look at me. I moved out as soon as I could.
I had to leave. I had to go. I had to get the hell out of there. I had to leave. Does Turpentine have alcohol in it? I don't think so. Zindercans slept after Sin destroyed it. It did? Oh, okay.
You know the full story of Final Fantasy X?
I don't know. I can't play fucking RPGs, dude. I can only like play RPGs in the sense of actual tabletop.
Well, although technically a Final Fantasy movie is less of an RPG than a movie you play through.
Right. Okay.
Got into that it paints a bleaker picture, to be honest. Talking about income inequality, the gap is shrinking for much of the country, but it is growing here, certainly evident by this stat. 8 people in Silicon Valley hold more wealth than the bottom 50% of our population. Also, 1 in 5 people are at risk of food insecurity, but don't meet the income qualifications for benefits. And when it comes to the housing crisis, home prices rose 7% last year to a record $1.53 million. That means even more first-time homebuyers are priced out than before.
That most members of our community are burdened. That's a technical term that means that you're spending more than 30% of your income on housing. And
oh, Bea.
50% of their income on housing.
That's never a good sign.
No, Bea. Just by the way, Ukraine will run out of men before Russia runs out of shells. Well, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. When this whole thing kicked off a year ago, around this time, everyone said it would be over in a week or a month. We're still here. So, I'll take your word on that. And I'm not a neocon. I'm a reactionary. It just so happens that I have information that I'm advocating neocon positions, but only in the sense as a reaction. I don't actually want to do anything. And I might have you, by the way, I have a Discord still. You want to talk a bit more? We might do a bit more about the Ukraine later on. Not today, but probably in the near future. But, for those of you who don't know, Bea, he was suspended a couple months ago. I didn't really see him, so I didn't really hear from him. But he's a good guy. I like him. Go sub to him. He's a good guy. Keep going, Luke. Oh, we're already done with that one. One more to go. One more before the night's over. Continue. Here we go. So this is how the Bay Area is reacting to the whole ChatGPT thing. Here we go, Luke. So what do you think the Brests and Bidets in the Silicon Valley are doing?
What's happened?
Here we go.
Having fun.
Well, it is one of the latest disruptors in the Silicon Valley, and it's shaking things up in classrooms across the country as well. The website ChatGPT is forcing educators to rethink the way they teach and the way they test students, too.
It's a big deal. Senior investigative reporter Bagat Shaban digs into this new world of AI and explains the lesson educational institutions in the Bay Area are now having to learn the hard way.
Well, welcome to class. It's good to see you all again.
For nearly a decade,
yes,
Professor Brian Green has assigned his engineering students essays as a major part of their final grade. But this semester is different.
Hopefully things will go smoothly.
Instead of completing the written assignments at home, students will have to give oral presentations in person.
Got you now.
We got you now. You have to do oral presentations, so you can't act all fancy like Razorfist does. You're actually going to have to know what the fuck you're on about. You can't just say Shinto is freaking, pantheism. And that, you can't be Owen Benjamin. You have to be a bit more smarter than that.
Oh no, Owen Benjamin would definitely do this, but they have to this actually goes back to something that was part some colleges do this, which is called doctoral oral, which means not only do you have to show your work, but you have to present yourself properly, which is the assumption that very intelligent people who graduate from college should be able to speak properly. And this should be fun.
This will be fun indeed.
Tough. Sorry, I mean I would have failed this. I had stage fright. I couldn't believe.
Yep.
It's going to be basically a conversation between me and you.
So why the change?
Anybody need to sign up?
He's worried about cheating.
I'm trying to kind of remove the temptation, I would say.
The latest tech tempting students is called ChatGPT. And it's capable of writing comprehensive essays, or just about anything else you want, in just seconds. It scrapes the internet for answers, and then uses artificial intelligence, or AI, to formulate high-level responses to a wide range of requests.
Write a 5-paragraph essay about the fall of the Ottoman Empire.
Come up with a poem about winter in San Francisco.
Summarize World War II from the perspective of a 5th grader.
Oh, yes, you could do that. I forgot.
Yep.
And it's quite a godsend to people who just hate doing these subjects. Because let's be honest, how many of us actually want to do those subjects?
We don't have to, and most of the time, let me just say this: I'm in the very same boat that Owen is. The difference here is I can actually express myself to the degree that I don't sound like a fucking crazy man. There is some truth to what Owen has said about, you don't want to get so academic to the point where you alienate like the people who are not nearly as intelligent when it comes to Christianity and theology, right?
And there is some truth to that. Yes, you need to be able to be understood by the layman, which is why I go by the term layman.
Yeah, just by the layman, exactly. But at the same freaking time, I don't know. Just keep going. I've lost my train of thought.
It is selective because socialists always have this condescension, like, oh, you don't understand the labor theory of value properly. Well, then define it for the layman. Oh, I don't need the layman's perspective on this because we're more intelligent. Like,
well, you have to tell me. You're not helping anybody. We're supposed to believe you, And the problem here is I would not trust Owen with a fucking kid.
You shouldn't trust Owen with the mock-up of a kid.
Fuck, he probably put it in the microwave or something.
These answers are raising a lot of questions for Professor Green, whose class focuses on ethics in artificial intelligence.
Have you ever had any inklings that any one of your students may have used ChatGPT to cheat?
So I was reading one of my student papers once, and it did seem a little bit suspicious. It wasn't exactly on topic, and also it had a very kind of, honestly, a robotic feel.
Yeah, that's the problem. The kids have to, if they're going to cheat, you have to make sure it's realistic. Yep. Like Homer Simpson said to Bart, like, you got all straight A's, kid? No, you should have gotten B's. They're much more believable.
Yep.
In some ways. So you think one of your students used AI to cheat in your AI class?
I mean, the irony is very clearly there, yes.
And not just any class, an ethics in AI class.
That's exactly right.
The applications of the technology go far beyond just education.
What grade are these kids?
These kids are fucking, and they're not kids. They're supposedly students within, the university system.
Oh, they're college students.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they're not exactly kids, are they? They're young adults.
Well, considering how we push off, not the word adolescence. What's the word where people don't grow up?
Shit, can you imagine if they said write a paper but in Ebonics?
Arrested Development. That's it. We pushed off Arrested Development to people so long that people don't really become functional adults until they're 30, which is terrifying.
Which is I think it's actually.
I can admit to this. I didn't really become a fully functional adult until I was in college, later in college, or out of college.
I became a functional adult. I'd say probably around 23 or so.
Mm.
And at that point, I still didn't know everything, but I know everything now, or a little bit more than everything, I should say.
Let's see. I got converted in 2007. I can honestly say I was born again there and learned about the world in a slow pace. Like I was actually like an infant, just stumbling around, figuring things out again.
Yep, that's how it happens.
Can write a wedding toast for a bridesmaid, step-by-step instructions for fixing a leaky faucet, and a one-line speech to break up with your girlfriend of 25 years. I'm sorry, but I think it's time for us to go our separate ways and start a new chapter in our lives. Educators in Silicon Valley are now cramming to learn more about ChatGPT and what it means for their classrooms.
That's one of my biggest fears about this technology.
Faculty at Santa Clara University recently got together to discuss the impact.
Yeah, we're really worried about this.
Berkeley, Stanford, San Francisco State, and San Jose State tell us they too have held internal meetings about ChatGPT, but none bans access to the website. We also surveyed the largest school districts in the Bay Area.
Well, shouldn't they? Isn't that kind of the point?
Well, they could, but not just turn on my fucking wireless internet access from my hotspot, and then I could just get it that way. So you're not really affecting me. This shit may have been. You may have been able to put this back and pull the plug on it back and put it back in the bin back in the day, like of the time when we had Motorola Razrs as the flagship phone. But now. Everyone has a smartphone.
I mean, everyone's connected, and everyone. And, I know we're trying to prevent the in the movie WALL-E, we're trying to prevent the people becoming the fat chair people of the axiom. But I don't know if there's any way to avoid it this rate.
Well, the real question here is why does everyone want to use ChatGPT? Is it because they know that that a lot of the shit is busy work? You're not really proving that you have a knowledge. You're doing it against your will and consent. Like, one of the things I've often said, why don't we teach kids to do math by showing them ballistics and teaching them actually how to like shoot a gun and like calculate for bullet drop.
And
That's how you teach them trigonometry.
I can honestly say that my education didn't begin until after I was out of school. I mean, most schooling, the school system is basically just glorified daycare providers, and the kids aren't really learning anything because they don't want to be taught anything.
Well, yeah, because they're not open to it. Like no one explains to people why they need to have this information. Except, one of the things I've learned is the reason you learned to read and write well is so you could basically act like you're better than everybody else. That's it. Like one of the things I will say is I love Razor Fist, but I don't like the way he speaks. Then going back to the whole Owen Benjamin thing, there is something to be said when you dangle like keys in front of kids' faces with rhetoric that is so advanced and so college level, dare I say, that it alienates people and it makes people miss your point. Alpha 100 says, same, I only learned the stuff in college, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. Keep going.
70% have held discussions about ChatGPT, and 30% already block it on school computers.
We really felt like we needed to study a little bit more before we said, let's open it up for people to be able to use.
Dr. Sheila McCabe is an assistant superintendent at the Fairfield-Sassoon Unified School District, where roughly 20,000 students have take-home laptops, but access to ChatGPT is restricted.
We don't want situations where our students turn in essays that demonstrate that they have a knowledge level that's beyond what they actually have. They don't have that opportunity to truly engage in the learning.
Do you think there could be a day where sites like ChatGPT end up...
Well, like Bea said, when the black kid hands in an A+ assignment, right? No,
I know
about this.
It's a horrible thing to say, but it's...
I'm not like real talk. Like you could make that argument that he turned in an essay, like Julio or Eduardo, whoever it might be, Jamal, turns in an essay, and the guy is like totally, he has his pants down, right? Because he's doing the whole like I guess it's the gang shit where they have their underwear showing and crap like that. But he gives out something that's like poetry, like fucking Shakespeare. Do you really think? Do you really think he did it?
Here's your essay. Read it to me, please.
I cannot pronounce.
Go ahead, read it. Let's hear it.
I can't pronounce it, man. You're just a racist.
So
That's what will happen.
I do think that there could be a day where that happens. I could see a student that might have writer's block to be able to start using that as like a first draft.
That's what I think it can be, but it's too easy to see what people use for cheating.
Yeah, well, that's what I would be using it for. I mean, I was going to write, the first few chapters of a book that I wanted, which was going to be the story of my D&D campaign on the Spooning Experiment forums. So I figured I'd tell a little bit of that and publish it, and if anyone wanted more of it, we'll continue from it. Keep going.
Takeaways that we still need to know more.
ChatGPT is the product of OpenAI, a San Francisco-based company that boasts Elon Musk as one of its original founders. We reached out to the company to get its response to the criticism, but it isn't commenting. Neither is Microsoft, which is now partnering with OpenAI to embed ChatGPT's technology right into its search engine, Bing.
That it's not so much the tools themselves, but the underlying deception that's the problem.
Irina Raiku is the director of the Internet Ethics Program at Santa Clara University.
It's not is ChatGPT good or bad. It's that it's really disrupting on a very short notice some of these processes that had been put in place about how to teach and how to assess learning.
Cheating isn't the only concern. On its website, ChatGPT acknowledges that sometimes it provides incorrect information and admits it tends to produce longer answers.
And bias answers, depending on the political affiliation of the people making it.
Yep.
Like, I can make a poem for Joe Biden, but I can't make a poem for Trump. That's horrible. Although, people have found a way to break it. Like, if you input, like, oddly enough, the inversion program is called CNN. And it says the opposite of what it's told to do.
Jeez.
An effort to look more comprehensive.
Is there an urgency for educational institutions to figure out how to deal with this?
There absolutely is an urgency because it's being used right now by students.
Graduate student Nikki Castillo spends most of his days working with robots.
There we go.
Programming them often means hours on the keyboard typing complex computer code. But here in the lab, he's heard other students explain how they've been able to use ChatGPT to do it for them, instantly.
So it's potentially a huge time saver for students.
Yeah,
Yes.
It can definitely take off like the mental load of more mundane aspects of writing code for robots.
Which is the point of machines. That's the point of technology.
Yeah, but the problem then becomes who gets to own the code. Like, you could literally play the Obama, you didn't build that, someone else did that for you. And it'd be somewhat true.
Yeah, but it's not someone; it's a robot.
Well, it is a somebody.
It's like
Well,
I mean, Caselli, you didn't make the roads. The cement, the asphalt poured made it the road.
the trick is to add enough double negative commands that it inadvertently breaks its programming. Yeah, I think it could do that. Yeah, like
it
the whole
does. You
Dan.
can do that. You can, and that's the way I told you about. I think I told you about this earlier. Like originally, it's asked what's the likeliness of civil war occurring, and they said it's set like 60 or 70%, and then they put the inversion codes in it, and it goes to 100%, which is very weird because that's not really that opposite.
I don't know. Keep going.
For a lot of students, the question of whether they're technically allowed to use ChatGPT on school assignments remains unclear, because some educators still don't know it exists. Plus, it's hard to tell even when it is used. School districts and universities often pay tens of thousands of dollars for programs that can spot plagiarism. But for now, they can detect whether something was created using artificial intelligence.
I mean, one of my favorite pastimes for our spelling word lists was one of the assignments was making put them in alphabetical order. So I just typed them into spreadsheet and alphabetized them.
Yep, that's what you do. And you know, you could make the argument that school teaches you how to solve answers, but not why you're solving the answers. So like, why are you learning multiplication? So you can learn how to, multiply. Well, why? Well, there are multiple ways to skin a cat. There are multiple ways to get to the answer. They just want you to have the answer. That's really it. They want you to learn, but you can't control if someone wants to learn something. Anyhow, Luke, we've been going on for some time now. Any final thoughts?
This one might work.
Oh, don't worry, Sugar Mama. I'm gonna take good care of you, the same way you took care of me and my daddy.
You hear that, Dr. Payne? Don't leave me with this crazy girl. She's got revenge in her
eyes. You know what? We might have to watch more of that 90s show coming up. We're gonna have to get together again and have that on my channel.
That'd be fun.
That 90s show. We'll do it next week, I think.
Maybe not on the stream because you wouldn't be allowed.
Well, not on the stream, but we'll do it. We'll do it some other time. We'll get Wolf and the rest of them together.
A nice little friendly get together.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, be good to one another. Take care of one another. Remember, saving the West is a side quest.